Hey, what's up? I'm Karina. Thanks for clicking on this video. Today I thought I would just sit down and do kind of more of like a casual style video, just so you can get to know me a little bit better. I know that when I find a channel that has content I like and I want to subscribe to, I always kind of just want to know a little bit more about the person behind it. So I'll look at their videos and see if they have like an about me video, just because I think it's kind of nice to get to know the person who's filming the content that you're into. So this is going to be my about me video, and I'll just kind of give you a bit of a background, who I am, why I started YouTube, kind of my background in makeup, and a few different random facts about me, just for fun at the end. And I did write notes about myself, which sounds silly because I'm just talking about myself, but I actually really struggle talking about myself. So I will be referring to notes just so that I don't ramble too much about any one subject. Here we go. My name on YouTube is Karina Eveline, and Eveline is obviously my middle name. It's not my last name. My last name is Hatterscheit. It's 13 letters, and it's just kind of hard to pronounce and recognize. It's German. My dad's German. He grew up in Namibia, and if you don't know where that is, it's the country that's just north of South Africa. I was born in South Africa in Cape Town. If you don't know where that is, it's the very most southern tip of the continent. But I was just born there, and then we moved back when I was around 1.5 or 2, so I don't speak Afrikaans, but my dad does, and I love the sound of that language. I have two brothers. They were both born in Canada. One's older than me, one's younger than me, and my mom's American. So my mom and dad met in the States while they were working for the same company, and we spent the first 5 or 6 years of my life in the States. So my mom's American, my dad's German, but he grew up in Namibia. We moved to Canada when I was about 6, and so we don't have any family here. It's just our immediate family in Canada. I grew up in British Columbia, and currently I live in Calgary, Alberta with my boyfriend Jared, and my older brother lives here too now. The reason I came to Calgary originally is because I got into ultrasound school here. So I finished school about 3.5, 4 years ago. I've been in Calgary for 5 or 6 years, and I've been working full-time in ultrasound for about 4 of those years. And I specialize in echocardiography and breast intervention, and I scan general ultrasound as well, but I don't do as much of the obstetrical work, which is kind of what people think of when they hear ultrasound. To give you a really brief kind of history of my schooling, I went to Okanagan College, and I went to UBC Okanagan and UBC Vancouver. So most of my background is in the sciences, and then that's how it was easy for me to kind of just transition into ultrasound and make a career out of that. While I was living in Vancouver, I was at UBC Van, and I was kind of nearing the end of finishing up my science degree and realized that I just didn't know what I was going to do with my science degree, and I just felt like I was kind of going to school, taking classes, spinning my wheels, and not knowing what my career would be. So while I was working on my science degree, I applied for ultrasound and got in the first time, which was really hard, and I didn't expect to because the class sizes are so small, so it's a competitive program to get into. So when I found out that I got in, I was absolutely elated because I knew I finally would have like a career path. And then from there I decided to stop my last semester of sciences and go to makeup school. So while I was living in Vancouver, I went to Blanche Macdonald. It's like a well-known makeup school there, and I absolutely loved it. And then when I moved to Calgary, I worked at MAC for at least 2 years while I was going to ultrasound school, and it was an awesome job. They paid well, and I was able to put myself through even more schooling. So I'm really grateful that I did do that. Makeup school gave me certification, and then MAC is where I really gained my experience in working on all different types of skin, tones, colors, and just a wide variety of people. When ultrasound school got really hard, I had to kind of give up MAC because we had to work full-time in a practicum environment, so I stopped working at MAC and then just finished school and then started working in ultrasound. So then after about 2 years in ultrasound, I kind of decided that I really missed makeup and missed the creativity of playing with product and color and experimenting with it, and just doing makeup on other people. So I decided to start my own bridal business with my best friend. She does the hair and I do the makeup, and that just kind of got me back into the makeup industry. So I'm still doing freelance work for weddings and wedding parties, and that's helped me a lot just get back into makeup and practice my skills on other people and just learn even further about how to do makeup on different skin types and different skin tones and all of those things. So that kind of brings me to today, and I just kind of wanted to tell you why I started a YouTube channel. It's been something that I have wanted to do for so many years, but I just didn't have the confidence to do it. It all kind of ties into why I kind of chose the niche that I chose, like, which is natural makeup and just like really wearable and classy makeup that will just make you feel like your most beautiful self. So it kind of starts back in high school, and it just has a lot to do with like my confidence back then. I just never felt like I was a pretty girl. I always kind of felt like the ugly friend compared to all of my friends. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but I really struggled with the way I looked, I think. But it wasn't like I was a really insecure or meek person or anything like that. Like, I still had confidence and I liked who I was, but I just never felt pretty. And I also just had no idea how to do makeup. I didn't even really know how to make myself look better. And so there kind of came a point where I decided, I think I need to learn how to get better at this, basically so that it can help me with my self-confidence. And that's kind of where it all started. I would notice sometimes that some of my girlfriends would do their makeup and their eyes would pop. And I just remember thinking, like, I wish I could do that. I just have no idea where to even start, like just no clue. So I started watching YouTube videos and I just would type in how to do makeup, and it started from there, and I just tried to learn and practice more and more things, everything you can think of. And I started to kind of not get good, but just develop a little bit of an understanding of how you would even start to apply an eyeshadow kind of thing. So that's kind of where my interest started. And then I think that's what really made me want to go to makeup school, because I wanted to learn even further and even more in depth. And then I just got better and better as I went to school and then worked for MAC, and now, you know, freelancing and all of that stuff. I built all those skills over time, but it all started with just wanting to learn to make myself feel like a little bit more confident, but nothing crazy. Like, I didn't want to look like fake or anything like that. I just wanted to feel more pretty. So when I first started watching channels, I started watching like Marlena Stell from Makeup Geek and Jaclyn Hill. Those were kind of like the original makeup artists that I watched all of the time. And I just thought that looked so cool, and I thought I wanted to start a channel myself. But there was another really big factor that played into why I didn't, and that had to do with my mouth and my teeth. So it wasn't until just last year that I decided to undergo jaw surgery and get braces for the second time and kind of like redo my mouth. And I know that sounds dramatic, like I think you should just start a channel no matter what you look like, but I just could not film myself and then look at how I looked like when I talked. I just couldn't do it. I would just get so insecure. And so that actually, I would say, stopped me more than anything else from starting a YouTube channel. And my mouth had been messed up since I was born. So I think that also played into why my confidence was so low. Basically, I was born with like my top jaw just didn't like grow in properly. So when I smiled, you couldn't see any teeth, and I was just so insecure about it. I couldn't smile in photos. I couldn't film myself. And so I just decided last year, and I had already gone through like everything that you could put in a mouth: retainers, spacers, braces, elastics, you name it, I had it. And it still just didn't pull my teeth down enough to be able to have a good smile or talk normally, in my opinion, in my head. And so last year, and I'm 30 now, so at 29, I decided I'm just gonna do it all over again, but this time get jaw surgery to really position my jaw in a more natural and normal way. So I did do that, and if you want me to create a video on my jaw surgery, it was a double jaw surgery. It was a pretty big procedure, and like I said, I had to get braces all over again and do everything all over again as an adult. I can create a video on that if you're interested, but it's just a big part of my story, because it wasn't until after all of that was done that I felt like I could just talk in front of a camera and just feel normal. And it's not even that I feel like way prettier, I just feel normal. So like when people pull out their phones and their cameras to take photos, I just feel like, okay, I can smile now. Like before, I just couldn't. I would be so shy and so insecure of getting photographed. So that was why it took me so long to start a channel, because I just couldn't, didn't have the confidence for it. Finally, after all of my mouth stuff was done, I decided there can't be any more excuses. And so I finally in 2020 decided to start filming, and it was during quarantine that I started. And I decided that I love makeup, I'm passionate about it, and I'm so happy that I did learn how to do my makeup because it's a large part of kind of who I am, and it really just does give me so much confidence to know like I can do whatever makeup look I want tonight and it'll actually turn out and look good. And I know how to enhance my own features to just make me feel more pulled together and just make me feel more confident and beautiful. And I think that's obviously the power of makeup. While I was working at Mac 2, I really discovered kind of what my niche was, and it was definitely more like the natural side of things, like natural glam, or like red carpet makeup. That kind of makeup style, or like bridal makeup, is definitely what I go towards because I still like looking natural and looking like myself. I don't like super heavy or cakey makeup looks. I just want to show people how they can use makeup to give them the confidence to just feel prettier, just make their eyes pop or make their cheeks pop or whatever it is, just how to play up your best features. So that's what my channel is all about. That's why I chose the natural and wearable and simple makeup niche, because that's what I'm good at. I just want to teach you how you can kind of add a little bit more variety to your makeup routine, and how to maybe just use like a neutral or natural eyeshadow to make your eyes pop where you didn't really know how to do that before, or how to use color but just keeping it into a more like wearable or classy kind of elegant way of wearing makeup. Hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of my whole background in a nutshell of how I got into makeup, why I got into makeup, why I love the niche that I chose to do as my YouTube channel, and why I finally decided to start filming a YouTube channel at all. I also kind of think that most of the makeup artists on YouTube kind of are more on that really creative or heavy makeup side, you know, like the full false lashes. Like even Jaclyn Hill, like her natural looks are still like so much concealer and all of that, and I love her because I totally learned so much from her. But I want to just have more of like a realistic everyday style of makeup that can really help you just feel like your most beautiful but natural self. A makeup artist that I feel a little bit more in line with is like Lisa Eldridge, for example, just because she does kind of do those natural looks, but she will play with color and show you how to make it a little bit more wearable. Anyway, so that is my story of makeup and YouTube in a nutshell. If you have any questions, definitely comment below. I'll answer anything. I'm a pretty open person. To end the video, I'm just gonna kind of spew out a few random facts about me just because they're fun, and I always find it interesting to hear about other people and just random facts about them. Makeup is not my only creative outlet. I love to play with watercolors, and I like to paint people cards with watercolor. I'm definitely not a watercolor artist. I would never call myself like a painter or an artist, but I just love to experiment with it. And when I'm feeling like stressed and I feel like I just need to be creative, watercolor is kind of my go-to. And I'm sure all my friends and family are sick of getting my watercolor cards for birthdays and everything else. I grew up playing the piano, and I went through grades 1 to 8 in the Royal Conservatory program, so I got pretty good at piano. And then when I moved out, I couldn't fit a piano into my little apartment, so I haven't played in like a classical way for a long time, but I love to sing as well. So I do have an electric piano that I'll use to just play chords with to accompany my voice. So I love to sing and play piano. I love to cook, so I love hosting dinner parties and kind of like researching what meal and what appy and what dessert I'm gonna serve. I like learning about different types of wine and how the wine will pair with the food. So I love cooking, I'm pretty good at it, and it's just another kind of creative outlet for me. Something else I love is health and fitness, so I spend a lot of time doing that. My boyfriend and I are really active, so our idea of a perfect vacation always involves being active and then kind of relaxing at the end of the day. But we would never just go somewhere and like lay on a beach and sip margaritas all day. We would like run the beach, and then I don't know. We just like things that there's a little bit more activity and adventure involved. Something else about me is that I love water. I'm a total water person. I used to swim competitively growing up. I wasn't like great at it, but I did, so I'm a very good swimmer now. And I love the ocean. I love lakes. Something that's hard for me living in Calgary, coming from BC, is that there's just not very much water around. So I actually live like right on the river, the only body of water in Calgary. And I love the rain, and I love like overcast days. So when I get up and the sun isn't shining, like it's more overcast, cloudy, or rainy, it just puts my spirit in such a good mood. And I know it's kind of weird, but I just love it. Okay, that is it for now. I don't want to go on and on and on. Like I said, if you're curious about anything, just leave your questions down below and I'll totally reply. And I'd like to get to know you guys too. Hopefully that kind of gave you a better understanding of who I am and just, you know, give you a bit more of a connection so you feel like you know me a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. I will see you in my next YouTube video.